Pikmin 4 has just had a lot of content released in the past few days, and one of the most discussed topics are the enemies. I decided to gather all the enemies shown in the recent trailer, as well as all of them on the websites because the website have been updated recently, and put them into one video so you can easily see all of them. So, let's get started. To start, let's go to the Nintendo Direct video, and then move on to the websites. I say websites because I'm going to be using the English and Japanese websites. Anyways, let's continue with the trailer. Now the trailer starts off with the Bulborb. We've seen this guy many times, but then shortly after you get to see the Peckish Aristocrat. This is the first time this guy's been shown, and shortly after you get to see the Momuda. This is one of the fan favorites, and he's sitting there looking a bit different because he has a bunch of hairs now. And beside him are the Spectralids. Now the Spectralids also look different. There's an image with them in higher detail a little bit later on. Then it jumps to this scene where you can see the Pluckering Blinnow. And these guys are from Pikmin 3 as well as Hey Pikmin, so we've seen them before. But then there's also this guy who is kind of like a pufferfish looking guy. He has a bit of spikes on the front of his face, not the rest of his body. So maybe he just shoots projectiles or something. And shortly after those guys, you see an elephant. Well, he's not an elephant, but that's what a lot of people are calling him because he's like a little green elephant guy. And beside him, which a lot of people haven't mentioned, is the Ice Dweevil. Now this is literally just a Dweevil, but he looks like he's made out of ice. Immediately after, you can see a fiery blowhog in the background. You see this guy a bunch throughout the trailer, but it's just the first time you see him. And there's some skitterbugs in the background, along with a Toity Bloister. This is kind of a bad image for him. You'll get to see him in a little bit more detail near the end. You can also see a baby Snagret at this scene, just hopping top of its head. And shortly after that, you can see the Armored Cannon Beetle, which is another fan favorite all the way back from the first Pikmin game. And then, this one, which has a bunch of people going crazy, is the giant Wollywog. Well, the giant yellow Wollywog. And he's just way bigger than a standard yellow Wollywog. Then, shortly after this is what people are saying is, I guess, the missing link between the Bulborb larva and a regular Bulborb. And it's this white Bulborb guy. Because the smaller ones that you see are actually knockoffs. Most people that play Pikmin and have read the Piclopedia know this. So this white Bulborb is kind of like the bridge between the larva and a full-blown Bulborb. Then, shortly after, you get to see the Puffy Blowhog, and two new bosses that they show, which are this scorpion-looking guy, and this Ice Moth. And then that's pretty much it from the Nintendo Direct trailer. Again, you just get to see some of these other enemies in a little bit more detail, but that's pretty much it. Then on the English website, there isn't really any new enemies to show, so I'll just pretty much move on directly to the Japanese website. On there, you can see some enemies again, and a few others that haven't been shown. Some enemies that have been on the website for a while. This Flower Boy, the Quaggled Meyerklops looking guy. They're obviously the Spider Mites, and a Burrowing Snagret, of course. Then if you keep scrolling down, there's the Disco Ball Longlegs, the Empress Bull Blacks, Baby Snagret in higher detail on the cover image. And now there's this button. And if you go on the new page, which is what a lot of people are talking about, the Pikmin Garden page, which honestly looks really nice, and you can see some enemies that I've already mentioned before, and this book with a picture of a lot of enemies, which I'll talk about in a little bit. There's also the Flint Beetle here, which is the first time we see him, Yellow Wollywog, a standard one at the bottom, Wogpole, and a Skeeter Skate. And then, once you head back up to the top, and you click on this book, you have a super nice image with a bunch of enemies and creatures. So, starting from the left and kind of going left down, we have the Honeywisp, the Burrowing Snagret, the Peckish Aristocrat, the Puckering Blinnow, the Skeeter Skate, the Swooping Snitchbug, Spectralids, and here you can see that they're a little bit different in their design, have a bit more detail than in the other games. You have a Yellow Wollywog, a Bulborb, Green Beady Longlegs. Now, he might not be Beady Longlegs, but he kind of just looks like Beady Longlegs, but green. You have the Puffering Blowhog, the Armored Cannon Beetle, everybody's favorite, the Bread Bug. Then you have the Fiery Blowhog, the Flint Beetle, the Jelly Float, which I believe is the first time he's been shown, at least in his Pikmin 4 render, the Pyroclasmatic Slooch, and that's pretty much it. But there is this button here that you can also click on. Once you click on that, you can see a few new renders as well, like the Joustmite, the Skitterleaf, the Scutterchuck, the Bearded Amp Rat, and then if you keep scrolling down, you can see the Wattlepuss, and again another nice render of the Toity Bloister, who has a very different design from previous games. And there you have it. That's everything that's been shown or updated this week for the enemies in Pikmin 4. Catch you next time.